Like, I'm coming to that point where I'm like, it's scary, but I'm getting close to when I can actually tell them and come out.
Personally, coming out as transgender, it's had a lot of hardships. I've had to cut off family. It's made my working environments kind of unsafe or uncomfortable. But I don't regret coming out just because I feel like I can be more authentic. But really, that's your journey, that's your timeline. So, you know, whenever you feel ready, or if you're not ready, it's all good.
Yeah, like I definitely I'm glad that I can finally be somewhere where like I resonate with all your guys' story. Like it's crazy because where I live, like I'm the only one, and so it's hard for me to like express myself because nobody I know feels the same way. And especially my parents as well, they're very like, hey, a man is supposed to do this, a woman is supposed to do this. It's very like, you know, if you don't follow these like your guidelines, like we don't want it type thing. If I were to come out, they'll probably like kick me out the house where I live, and so it's tough doing that for sure.
What's been interesting to hear is that there's been a lot of mention around safety, not just like financial safety, but mental and psychological, as well as relationships as well. I would love to hear from you two if you guys have any advice.
Well, I would say the fact that we get to see your lovely faces, but the audience does it, should show obviously that there's a price. I mean, if there wasn't, you'd be able to say this openly. So I just commend you for coming out here with or without your parents' permission. and just, it just felt so nice to hear all of you speaking, and I really resonated with you because I grew up Muslim. My dad is very religious, and I came out in my late 20s when I was independent and felt like if my parents disown me, then at least I'm like 28 and I have my own life and I have friends and whatever. And so I called my dad and I was like, I don't even remember what I was trying to say. I was talking circles. And he was like, oh, you're coming out. And I was like, sir, who taught you that word? What is going on here? And then he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And we were both kind of like, I don't know, it was very strange because he was just like, well, you're still Khadija. And I started, you know, I was like, no. And I just like, I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that until I heard it. And I wish more parents realized how important their opinion of their children is. And so when they don't approve of you, when they disown you, it's like, okay, if they can't love me, who else in this world could?
I love that story about your parents so much. And my own experience of coming out, so I also grew up in a religious community, Christian, and am still part of that community. And so for me, part of the coming out journey was figuring out like, what does it look like to continue to be in those spaces? And so I kind of came out in sort of a blaze of glory. Like I simultaneously said, okay, I think I'm gonna be celibate, which was like one more thing for everybody to have an opinion about. And I, instead of just coming out, I wrote a book on the subject and literally came out by taking the pre-order link to my book, posting it to Facebook, and writing, "Dear friends, I'm delighted to announce that I have a book coming out. Also, here are a few other things you should know about me."
Iconic behavior.
Wow. And you know, and the world went a little crazy, and there were like radio shows dedicated to proving what an evil person I was, and it was kind of a wild time. But one of the things that was so important to me before I did that, I sat down with my parents and I was like, I think I'm gonna publish this book, how do we feel? And I distinctly remember he's sitting in the back seat of the car and he's like, if people have a problem with that, screw them. And I was like, you go, Dad. And it was one of those moments where I just realized no matter how many people hate you after you come out, like as long as the people who matter are there for you, that's what counts most. And sometimes in the process of coming out, you figure out who the people are who matter most. And yeah, when people start to love the real you, that's often a lot more important.
It's hard to feel loved by someone who doesn't know that you're queer.
Just a little background about me. I'm actually Mormon and I'm going to school currently at a church school. So I do feel like, I don't know what to call it. I wouldn't say like fully love, but I do feel like people like to be my friend and hang out with me. But if they knew this information about me, would they really love me? Would they really be there for me? It's just hard to have that always in the back of your head.
Do you have someone at the university that knows about this?
Yeah, so I have about my 3 friends in my posse. One of them is my sister and one is my cousin. So just having them there has been a huge help. They weren't always there, so just reflecting on that time is hard It was very suicidal time for me, and it was down to that idea of like suicide come out.
So when you were feeling that way, is that when you told someone?
Yeah, I had like a meltdown. It was kind of crazy, but I finally came out to my sister and she just gave me a hug, and it was like probably the best hug I've ever had in my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Curious if you have had any similar experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a coming out coach, so I help people come out. You know, you say that it's hard to feel fully loved, and I totally relate to that because you aren't your authentic self. But what I've realized is that when people don't approve, it's not actually about you at all, it's about them. Because you are just being more of yourself. It's not like a shameful part of you, it's a beautiful part of you. And so people who know you and love you will continue to know you and love you unless there's some part of them that's making them shut that down. If they have, you know, they're raised in the same heteronormative society as you. So when you do come out, if anyone isn't accepting, it's not about you at all.
Yeah.
And your relationship with your parents?
My
Since
parents.
They don't
Oh.
know? Yeah.
They don't know I'm here either. So yeah.
I think we have a lot of things
Yeah.
in common here.
Children are bad. I'm kidding.
Do you ever find yourself trying to predict like how people would respond if you came out to them? I feel like before I came out, it was like everybody had like a little percentile hovering above their head where I would be like, you're like an 87% chance it'll go okay. You're
my
like
God.
a 30% chance, like this is bound to tank. And I feel like that act of trying to predict like, how's this gonna go was part of the stress even for me of being like, I don't know how much you love me because that percentile keeps changing.
Yeah, no, it's for me, it's kind of like that, also kind of like a dating simulator where you have like the 3 different options, like what you could say. And it's not like that, like, oh, I'm like, predicting these things. I have like actual like evidence-based research kind of thing because I have family friends who are openly queer. One of my family friends, he's very much more flamboyantly queer, but my mom would always be like, you see that? The nail polish, that makeup, why? He's going to hell. And I'm like, yeah.
If I may ask, what percentage would you assign to your parents?
That's hard because my mom is like openly homophobic. My dad is like silently homophobic.
Right? It do be like
It do be like that.
So my parents were like 100% Mormon in the church when I came out, and they're not anymore.
Wow.
And they're in their 60s, and they've spent their whole life in the church. When I came out, my dad went to his leader at the church, like far up, and he said, listen, my daughter is probably going to get married to a woman, and that's apostasy. That means she's willfully going against the church and she won't be with me in heaven. He's like, that just doesn't work for me. I can't see a heaven, a place I would want to be without my daughter. And that was the thing that allowed him to really question, do my values align with this organization that I contribute to, that I support, that I volunteer, that I give my life to? I never in a million years would have ever believed they would leave the church. But you know what? Their love for me and the foundation that we built, they knew who I was. And I did not become a different person when I came out. And I'm remarried to a woman now. And thank you. We have 7 kids together because we popped out the babies like the Mormon
Oh my
moms
God.
that we were bred to be.
A queer, yours, mine, and
Yeah, Brady Bunch. 5 boys, 2 girls. At my wedding, my little brother gave a speech and he said, Lena, I'm so happy to meet you. Sally, it's great to finally meet you. Aww. Like he saw who I really was now that I was able to be my full self. You know, it was just so beautiful to feel that love fully myself and to have all those people there supporting me. And it is possible. And I'm not saying it's gonna happen for you. I'm not saying your parents will for sure leave the church, but you will find those people who will be your chosen family. A lot of queer people have chosen family, right? Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful.
Can we get the disagreeers stuff forward?
My family is very like, we're like a small gang in the sense that like we do everything together. And so I feel like even though they don't know like who I really am, I feel like they still love me for what they know.
I kind of agreed with that. That's why I kind of disagreed. Although hearing all of your stories, I kind of changed my mind actually.
Oh.
The reason why I disagree